Good morning, good evening, good all the things. Hi, how's it going? I'm Catie Brannon, and this is Tea Time True Crime with Catie, where I find cases that are obscure, not well known, and if you heard of this case, I try to shed a little more information about the case. So this case, I celebrate Christmas. Christmas is just around the corner, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you've had a wonderful Hanukkah and happy holidays to all my listeners out there, my beautiful true crime kitty cats. So today's story is something that I found, and sadly there is not that much information on it, but I really think we all need to remember Professor Dora Ferguson. Now, my content may not be suitable for all viewers or all listeners, so I'm going to talk about controversial subjects, perhaps upsetting matters. So please, this is not for everyone. But if you guys are still here, welcome, happy to have you, and let's go. Before I go, though, you guys, I like to mention some YouTubers sometimes. If I don't have a sponsor, or if someone doesn't contact me, or, if I'm like kind of like a lull right now. So I actually want to talk about a YouTuber because not only I'm fascinated by true crime, I'm also fascinated by plastic surgery. I don't know why. Maybe it was me loving the show Nip Tuck when I was younger. Which my best friend's rewatching it, and she's like, you need to rewatch it. It's like watching a brand new show. You don't remember like anything of it. I was like, I remember a couple things, but no, I don't remember all of the 6 seasons. But yes, so let me know down in the comments below if you watch Nip Tuck as well. So I was watching this YouTuber. His name is Dr. Gary Linkov. If I'm wrong about that, I'm sorry. But Dr. Gary he does hair transplants, and he is a plastic surgeon. Like, he does facial plastic surgery, and he's a real person. I mean, he's a real doctor, and he has his own practice in New York. I believe it's in Manhattan. So I was wanting to look into this is where I'm going to like really show my vulnerability here. I believe we all have insecurities. I believe we all have something we want to work on. And if you can do it, if you have the means, that's awesome. I want you to be happy as much as you can be happy. I have plenty of friends who have received plastic surgery and it's looked really, really good, and some not so much. So I was thinking of getting the buccal fat removal. And if you're wondering, like, what is that? The easiest way to explain it is when I show those pictures right over here. Basically, they remove the fatty part of my cheek, and I start to have like this Maleficent, Bella Hadid kind of like chiseled look, like Anya Joy. I'm missing Anya Taylor-Joy. I love her, but she has kind of like that supermodel-esque look. That's Bowie. He's playing with my true crime throw rug over there. So I was thinking about it, and then I started watching his videos, and he actually stopped doing that in his practice. He just didn't want to, because number one, it's not for everybody. There have been plenty of people that received the buccal fat removal and they didn't need to, So, and there are other people that it looks great on. It looks great. He just says that it is very permanent and it is irreversible. So when I hear that, I'm like, maybe 10 years from now, I'll start to love my chubby cheeks. And you're probably like, well, Caitlin, drop a few pounds. Okay, your face will get smaller. I get that. I'm going to be vulnerable again. I suffered from anorexia and bulimia about 10 years ago. And it was really hard for me, but I still had a round face. It was smaller, yes, but I still had like these chubby cheeks. But as I'm older, I feel like I have more youthful appearance. So maybe that's not what I'm going for. I want to go for like high fashion model, but it doesn't matter. But definitely check out his YouTube, Dr. Gary. He's actually Ukrainian, and he left Ukraine at that time, I believe in the early 90s when he was like 3, and then moved to America. So yes, the Ukrainian and the war right now is really upsetting. It's upsetting me too because I don't believe in war. I don't think we should all fight. I think we all should treat each other how we should be treated. So, all right. So I am rambling. Now, check out that YouTube page. He's awesome. Good vibes. Okay. Dora Ferguson. You sweet, sweet woman. Dora Ferguson, she passed away on Christmas. So December 25th, 1983 was when her body was found. Now, she was actually beyond intelligent, you guys. She was an archaeologist. She was a professor at McMaster University and in Hamilton, Ontario. And this lady was just like everything she touched just turned to gold. And she just got everything right in life. Weirdly, it didn't say her age. It just said a young college professor. And her murder it's weird because people don't say it was a murder. They say it was like an accident. But I want you guys to let me know. I feel like if you have any horrible intention and it ends up in murder, I mean, what were you thinking anyway? It's a horrible intention. You have to always think of the worst case scenario when you're trying to rob somebody or anything like that. So Dora is like living on High Street, okay? The night before of her death, tragically, she was accepted in the Royal Society. Yeah, that is a big, big deal in Canada. It is the Royal Canadian Society. And she was dating Mark at the time, and they were having a really good time. He said there was nothing out of the ordinary. They actually had one of the best nights of her life. So the next day, I don't know if they do this, but they were going Christmas shopping on Christmas Day. Meaning, usually, I'm not sure how it is in Canada, but I know in the United States, a lot of places are closed on Christmas, except for Chinese restaurants. Yummy. So their plan was at 11 a.m., her boyfriend was going to meet with her at her office, and they're going to go Christmas shopping. Well, as soon as the boyfriend at 11 a.m. goes to her office, okay, he is immediately greeted with police. And he's kind of confused, like, what's going on? Because before 11 a.m., he arrived a little bit earlier, knocked on the door because, weirdly, it was shut. It was like, I'm not sure it was locked or anything, but he knocked, and he knows that her door is, like, always open. So he was thinking, maybe she's just running late, but it's weird because she is very punctual. So I think in the way of his words, the way I read it, he thought that she wasn't there yet. But the truth is more tragic. So the police tell them what happened, and of course Mark is absolutely devastated. They could not believe that, his girlfriend was just killed, murdered in this brutal, brutal way. And they were like, do you have any enemies? Let us know. And he's just like, no, Dora was loved by everyone. She is extremely intelligent. I don't know who the heck would do this to her. So the police were kind of like, I don't know. They were kind of like, well, someone must have known her to actually do this to her. And, the boyfriend's like, I don't know, man. I just, no. So, police start to investigate, of course. And they notice that there's a receipt around the office. Like, I'm thinking it was like buying makeup or something. So automatically the police are like, if a receipt is here, that means a purse is close by. But as they search the office, they realize there is no purse. So what is that, True Crime Kitty Cats? This is a robbery because there is no purse at the scene. So immediately they're like, is this a robbery gone wrong? Unfortunately, I'll place you at the scene. So what happened was that before 11 a.m., at 10:30 a.m., Dora was in her office. And she was just, I guess, doing some work before she was going to see her boyfriend. But it was kind of chilly that morning. So she made a call to the janitor and said, hey, can you turn the heat up? And that was around 10:30 a.m. So the janitor goes about 11:30 a.m., opens the door, and sees her dead body. And he is just so shocked. How she is found, you guys, she is found face down. She is found handcuffed. There is duct tape around her eyes, around her face, and her eyes, and they're also around her mouth. Her pants were also pulled down with a little bit of her undergarment showing. And everyone was like, what in the world? Like, they just couldn't even believe. And this poor woman, the autopsy, as soon as the autopsy was seeing how this woman passed away, it gets sadder, you guys. So Dora, I'm not sure what this disorder is called, but she has a problem with breathing through her nose. I know. And you're thinking, oh, she was duct taped in the mouth and the eyes. She couldn't breathe. So she did. She suffocated. Now, the autopsy, they were very confused because with this horrific attack, why is there no defense wounds? How did she not fight back? This is an archaeologist professor who does not take, any mess, and she's traveled around the world. And this is the 80s, and that's it's a good time to travel around the world, I'll tell you that. She went to Italy, she uncovered all kinds of fossils, so she was very appreciated and just, celebrated. And so they're like, how did she not fight back? So they did an autopsy, of course, and they found chloroform in her system. Chloroform is basically this agent. I know we see it in TV and movies, and it's a real thing. You put it on a rag and you cover the person's face, and it instantly makes them pass out. Some people need more chloroform than others. Now, of course, when they saw the pants kind of down and her undergarments showing, they're like, this was a sexual assault attack. This woman was sexually assaulted, but she actually wasn't. There was no evidence of sexual assault. So you have no evidence of sexual assault, you have chloroform, you have a no sign of struggle, which means he it was an element of surprise, and he knocked her out. And they found a rag in her mouth. So not only her mouth was taped shut, there was a rag in her mouth. I know. God, that is like you're thinking about just having the best night of your life the night before, and you're about to go Christmas shopping with someone you really love, and some friggin' psycho goes and chloroforms you and kills you. What? Okay, so her credit cards are missing. They totally see that because there is no purse. So they start, of course, interviewing people around the building. There is one, I'm not sure if he was a teacher. I'm pretty sure he was a teacher because it was his office. His name was Clemens. And he told the police that, oh yeah, it was very strange. Around this time, a big woman came in to my office. And then right before I was going to ask her, what do you need? She just left. Now, immediately, they are suspicious. They're like, huh, and you've never seen this woman before? And he goes, no. He goes, can I please have a composite? He's like, do you remember what she looks like? He goes, yeah. So police make a composite sketch. Now, I don't understand why the security was anyway. So when the sketch was going around the university, there was a stalker actually that looked like the sketch. His name was Victor Shelley. And he would kind of act creepy around the students. I don't know. like Joe, you behavior, just skulking around. So when several girls, like women, saw the composite sketch, they went to the police and they're like, hey, I know this guy. And immediately the police got him. And, you know, Victor did say that, yes, I go and I kind of walk around and I look at pretty girls. But this Victor he's like a stalker college student who just, I don't know, skulker. He didn't do any harm to these girls, but these girls just like, he's creepy, they said. But after doing a handwritten analysis, because when there are credit cards missing, and back in the 80s, what they would do is if they get, when they follow the paper trail of when the last time the credit card was used, they go to the store that it was used and grab the receipt and then make sure that whoever forged, it's forged because she's no longer with us, who forged her name, then they have to get like handwriting analysis. So yeah, even in the 80s, they were doing handwritten analysis. Handwritten analysis. So with the creeper, sorry, Victor, maybe you're Joe or maybe you're not. Who knows? So he immediately wanted to cooperate with the investigation. He said he had nothing to do with it. And they said, okay, well, please write down this name. And then they did a handwriting analysis, and it was not him. It was not a match. As they were talking to the store that actually the person wrote down, you know, their forged signature on the receipt, the police was asking, what did this person look like? Well, they kept saying, what did she look like? What did she look like? And, you know, I'm going to say something right here. I am not doing this to cause any rifts or roughs or what have you. I'm just stating what's going on, okay? But this is what the clerk said. He said that it was a man in women's clothing. Yes. Now, sometimes that there is a difference, you guys, between transgender and transvestite. When I think of transvestite, I think of, you know, Tim Curry and Rocky Horror Picture Show. You know, just a man dressing up in women's clothing or for sexual fetishes. You know, it's mainly heterosexual males that are transvestites. A transgender is someone who alters their appearance to look about the opposite sex, because when you have a certain body, but your mind says you're a different body, you know, that's very different. So transgender, that's why the police was confused, because he was like, how did you not, but, you know, transvestites at this time in Canada, there was a small knit community of them. And so that is when the police went to interview them. And it wasn't just like, you know, transgender. Transgender, like I said, if I am a born female, but if I want to be a male, I would alter my body to be a male because I truly believe that I'm a male. You know? You get it? Did I confuse you? It's fine. That's not important. But a transvestite in this situation is a heterosexual male who receives a sexual pleasure, like just a kind of a thrill in women's clothing. Maybe it's the feelings of the garments. Maybe it's the embarrassment or shame because, you know, we weren't as open, and, you know, a lot of things in history we have come forward, and then of other things we have come a few steps back. But back then in the 80s, it was very shameful to be a transvestite or dress in opposite sex clothing, which is stupid. We should pay attention to more things, you guys, you know, other than he, she, and they. We should pay attention to other things. All right. That's the only political I will get. Now, the clerk described, and the police were like, okay, so it's a 200-pound male, big, who wore women's clothing, who wore makeup kind of messy, who wore wig and women's clothing. So the police, even though they went to a small transvestite kind of gathering to interview, and they were like, listen, we know what we are, but we're not here to hurt anybody, and if we know anything, we'll let you know. So, they were good, they were good people. They cooperated. But again, police were at a loss. They were like, okay, how are we going to find this person? So then a few days later at Brock University, it's a little bit of a way, and there was a call that the same, description, because by then, when police had no more leads, they released this composite sketch to the public. By the time they went to Brock University, the young, he was not there. But a young woman actually calls police, and they're like, I know who this is. The strangest thing happened. And I know this guy. And they're like, what happened? They said a large man dressed in women's clothes came and knocked on my door with handcuffs. Now, it's weird how they portray him. I don't know if he had handcuffs in his hand or he was handcuffed. Like he wanted to seem that he was helpless and he really needed help. But she didn't open the door. She just saw what she saw and called the police right away. Now, she recognized him as Michael Crowley. I know, guys, you're going to be like, Crowley, Catie? Really? I know. When I think of Crowley, I think of, that guy. Supernatural Crowley. One of my favorite characters, by the way. So, anyway, Michael Crowley. And the reason why he went to that woman, I don't know why, but he actually lived downstairs. So I'm thinking they were in a different kind of flat, some kind of apartment. And like I said, she called police and police came right away and they caught him. And they had a search warrant and they went into Michael Crowley's home, and they saw some things that they weren't ready to see. There were pictures of disturbing photos of sexual sadism, and basically there were women that were bound and gagged and just handcuffed, tied up, just a very fetish kind of, modeling pictures, probably just pornography. That's what they found. And they found a whole closet of women's clothing and wigs and stuff like that, shoes. But again, police needed more. You can't just arrest somebody on just because you wear girls' clothing and you have fetish porn. You gotta have more. So, they're talking to Michael. Michael is very nice. And one of the detectives were like, if you really want to help with this investigation, I really need to get a handwriting sample from you. And then as soon as the detective gave Michael the piece of paper and said what to write, all of a sudden Michael kind of went kind of cuckoo bananas. He started writing his name over and over again, all over the paper. And the detective said that he was just looking and he literally said his hairs on the back of his neck stood up. And then he knew it and he was like, you killed that woman, Michael. And then Michael automatically just went to his knees and just started sobbing. Just very remorseful and just said, I didn't mean to kill her. And they were like, pretty much you did. And he was basically saying I was trying to rob her and things went out of hand. But in my research, when there is a sexual kind of crime, most perpetrators say they were trying to rob them and things got out of hand. That's because they want to downplay the sexual assault. Because burglary is less harsh than being a sexual, offender, which is, yeah, definitely. So the police didn't buy it at all, because why did he go to her office with like a kit? Why did he go with duct tape? Why did he go with the rag? You don't rob people and just have like a rape kit like hanging around. Michael was extremely remorseful, but this is what happened sadly on Christmas Day in 1983. So while she was waiting for her boyfriend, for her and him to go Christmas shopping, or I'm thinking just spend time together, it's Christmas. While she was waiting, she got a little cold, so she decided to call the janitor and like, hi, can you turn up the heat? And of course the janitor definitely obliged and turned up the heat. And he wanted to go check on her, and then an hour later he saw her body. Now this is what happened. We do not know that Michael, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is what happened. I will get to that because I have a Reddit post that someone thinks that he killed somebody else. I know. Again, it's just a Reddit post, that's kind of like a grain of salt, but then there's also very interesting facts on Reddit as well. There's whole YouTube channels on just Reddit posts. Okay. So anyway, so while Dora is, just waiting for the heat to go up, her door is a little bit cracked open and she is just working. All of a sudden, Michael is going room to room because he has this craving. He has just been, he woke up. We're not sure if he just looked at the pornography right away, but he dressed up in a wig with women's clothes and decided to go to the university because he's been there a few times before. That I didn't understand, but he knew the area very well, which is suspicious. Anyway, so he goes, weirdly, you guys, door to door and starts looking for a woman. I know. Like, what? That's how he ran into Mr. Clemens. Mr. Clemens saw and was like, who are you? But by then he was trying to say, what do you want? What do you need? Michael is out. Then he goes and he starts, turning doors a little bit to see if anyone is in the office. But then he creeps up to Dora's office. She is working at her desk. As he opens the door, he comes up behind her. She turns around and starts smiling because she's so excited that she thinks her boyfriend walked through the door. Then she is immediately terrified because that is not her boyfriend. She doesn't even know who this person is. So she tries to get up, grab her phone, call the police, but Michael overpowers her, immediately gets a rag, chloroforms her, and knocks her out. She is out. Then he starts to get to work. Then as she's lying on the ground, he actually lies her on her stomach, and then as he's handcuffing and duct taping her eyes and her mouth, before he does that, he puts the rag in her mouth. When he does that, he had no idea about her breathing problems. He just was horny. Fucking asshole. Man, sorry, excuse me. Woo! Shoulda. Okay, so as that's happening, he starts to pull down her pants to have the sexual attack. But there was a knock at her door. I know. And you're wondering, well, Catie, it wasn't Mark, was it? Yeah, it was. I'm sorry. So Mark starts knocking at the door. And she's passed out. Like, he must have gave her a lot of chloroform. They said it was a lot. But she's passed out. He knocked. And Michael is startled. And he decides not to proceed with the sexual attack. But he still leaves her pants kind of down. They weren't all the way down, you guys. Like, it was kind of like a pull down, maybe to the hip area, but her panties were showing. Undergarments were showing. So, by the boyfriend knocking, he interrupted the attack. Michael is startled, and he waits for the boyfriend to walk away. Then Michael starts to realize, okay, I gotta get out of here. And then he starts to look around, and he sees her purse, and he goes, oh, I'm just gonna rob her. That's what I'm gonna do. And then he quickly, when the coast was clear, he ran away and ran out. He didn't even check if she was still breathing. He was extremely sorry, extremely remorseful, but the fact that it is somebody who he didn't even know, that he took this woman out of this world, who was loved by so many, and gave transvestite a horrible name. Like, yeah. It was pretty bad. This is the 80s in Canada, and even though there was a tight-knit community, can you imagine with media saying transvestite and chloroform? Oh my gosh, it made everyone just, like, there was tension. There was so much tension in Hamilton, Canada. So Michael did, cry, and actually when he was caught, I forgot to tell you this, sorry, but there was a little glass vial. I know, right? I think of a little glass vial. Okay, sorry. Woo, all right. So it was a little glass vial, and it had liquid in it, and the police were like, what is this? And he's like, I knew you were coming, and it's cyanide, and I was going to take it. But he didn't end up taking it. Michael received 25 years in prison. Michael was caught 24 days later after this vicious crime. And I've learned that, I don't know if it's here in the United States, but in in British Columbia, homicide. If there's a homicide during sexual assault, it is automatically first-degree murder. Yeah, I know. I don't understand it. You have a hand, bro. I don't even know why he went this far. I feel like the confidence was because he did it before. And let me read you that Reddit post. All right, I found this on Reddit, guys. It came out I think 7-8 months ago, and it's by Long Jumping Suspect 57. The December 1983 Mac Master murders, and it says cold case. In December of 1983, over less than 2 weeks, 2 Oxford-educated professors of related fields, anthropology and archaeology, were murdered. Both bodies found bound in eerily similar positions on McMaster's University campus. Her name was Edith Whiteman. She passed away on 12/17/1983. And then who we talked about, Dora Ferguson, on Christmas of 1983. Now, Michael Allen Crowley was arrested in January of 1984, convicted that November of the murder of Edith Whiteman, but I have found nothing about him after the point. Now, Dora Ferguson has no internet record of her murder being prosecuted I could find. It is a coincidence I found her while looking into the Whiteman case, and then only because of a 2005 72 Hours episode description. The only few articles that I found were transvestite in the headline or chloroform in that text. How is it there is nothing contemporaneous? Wow. Yeah. Contemporaneous? In Ontario, news media on 2 perfect parallel sensational murders, or to this day. And whatever happened to Michael Crowley? Okay, so that was a Reddit post. I want to know what you guys think. Please let me know down in the comments below. I didn't even find this Edith Whiteman kind of crime, and if this has been unsolved, because it says cold case, I really wish positive energy to the loved ones. I wish positive energy to the loved ones of Dora. It's just a horrible, senseless crime, and it just made the transvestite community, people just horrible to them because of this crime. But again, just because one person is bad doesn't mean they're all bad, I cannot stand that. One bad apple ruins all the good apples. No, it doesn't. We are our own person. We make our own actions. We are innocent until proven guilty. But, like I said, Michael, what happened to his butt? It was 25 years in prison, which, horrifyingly, he may be out. Because the news little TV spot that I saw, which was I watched the 72 hours from the 2005 version, he looked like he was older. But then when I researched on Google, it said he was only 28 years old. So he's out? What is happening? If you guys know anything about the case, please let me know. Let me know what you think. I wish you guys happy holidays. Please know that I love you guys so much, my true crime kitty cats. I wish you and your loved ones a very Merry Christmas. Please know that you are loved and you are cherished. And I apologize, but the tea, I had mushroom coffee today. Yes, so I am kind of wired right now, if you haven't noticed. But mushroom coffee is very healthy compared to a triple shot Starbucks espresso. So, yeah, I'm doing some kind of right with the mushroom coffee. Thank you very much, guys. Remember, you are doing better than you think. Bye, guys. Oh, yes, and everyone's like, you gotta say that. Subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications bell to see my next video. And also, I want to go live and hang out with you guys. Please let me know what time is great for you. I am pretty flexible. I will make this work. I love you, true crime kitty cats. I'll see you later. Bye. Bowie. Hi. You jumped in the middle of my... Aww. Oh, you give me kisses. I love you so much. I'm not mad that you scratched me.